WNDS Sports presents Candlepin Stars and Strikes, featuring the best candlepin bowlers from all over New England. And now, in our 17th season, here's your hosts for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, Dick Lutz and Mike Moore.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome in to another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Moore, and we have reached the semifinals of our final ladder series. One of these two bowlers hopes to earn a berth in our Tournament of Champions at the end of the year.
Two very different bowlers, the seasoned veteran Bill Treeful and Chris Boisvert, who was the winner in the Tournament of Champions last year. The only thing these two guys have in common, they've both been on Stars and Strikes 12 times.
Treeful, a 99-pin winner in his match last week over Hugh Ferguson. Let's meet our bowlers this afternoon. First, last week's winner, our number 3 seed from Franklin, Massachusetts, Bill Treeful.
And it's a contrast in style between Treeful and Boisvert. All right, Billy with a 128 average, high single 193, 492 high triple. Bill bowls in several leagues, Central Park Lanes in East Boston, as well as Park Place in Wyndham and Exeter Lanes as well.
And Bill bowled a 649 to earn his number 3 seed in this ladder series. And he'll be taking on a young man who's the defending Tournament of Champions winner from last year, Chris Boisvert of Nashua.
And a favorite here at Leda Lanes. This is where he did his junior bowling, lives in Nashua. Chris's high single is 194. High triple is 460, currently carrying a 124 average at Leda Lanes right here and Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts.
And Chris bowled a 666 to gain his number 2 seed. Let's get right to it. It's Chris Boisvert and Bill Treeful when we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV right after this.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you by the Thompson family of dealerships in Nashua, New Hampshire.
We began a couple of weeks ago with 5 hopefuls, each looking for a spot in the Tournament of Champions at the end of the year. Hugh Ferguson defeated John Winchell in the first match. Then last week it was Bill Treeful ousting Hugh Ferguson, setting up this week's match with Treeful taking on Chris Boisvert of Nashua. And Bill Treeful will be first to bowl here at Leda Lanes as we get underway this afternoon in our semifinal match of this, the 6th ladder series. 6 bowlers will be competing in the Tournament of Champions at the end of the season, and Bill Treeful is ready to go.
444 last week for Bill Treeful, and that's one of the highest triples that we've had. 455 Gary Carrington, best we could tell, but the highest.
And Treeful starts out with a pocket shot that leaves him a very difficult 7 and 9 split in the back row. Piece of wood in the...
Not that helpful.
Well, might deflect the ball over. Take a shot at it. You got to hit it first. We've seen some great bowling the last couple of weeks. We saw a terrific 3rd string by Hugh Ferguson 2 weeks ago. A 174 with 9 marks in 10 frames. We saw the 444 by Treeful last week. So we have really seen some outstanding bowling.
We're going to see 2 very different styles today. From Bill Treeful, a more contained style, and Chris Boisvert, much more flamboyant style.
And the spare for Treeful in the 2nd frame. The 4 horsemen on the left side going down. Flamboyant's a good word for Chris. He just lets it fly.
He does. He's a product of the junior program right here at Leda Lanes. Mrs. Belanger and Sean run a terrific program on Saturdays. Back in the 90s, that's what he was doing, and both, in fact, the same time my daughter did.
Chris starts out with a half Worcester.
Mom and Dad are here, of course. They were always big supporters of Chris's as he was a junior bowler, and still give him all the support these days.
And he gives it a run.
Quite a few changes in Chris's life in the last year that we'll get to as we go along this afternoon.
One has changed his life forever.
Yes.
That'll be a 9 box for Chris starting out. Chris and Amy were married in August. Nothing will ever be the same.
It's all for the better. And you recently celebrated 29
with Deborah.
You and Deborah spent a nice weekend in Boston, I understand.
We did. Chris works at San Mino, which used to be Hadco. It was taken over by the West Coast operation last year. He's an auto optical inspector. And he settles for a pair of 9s.
Very calm and poised bowler, Chris Boisvert. A lot of experience for a man of only 25 years old.
Bill Treeful on lane 34.
Didn't really want that 2-pin to fall.
Got the 4, the 5, the 7, and the 8.
5-pin is the big problem here.
Look at this. Look at this. There they go.
And that was about the only way you could make that shot.
I would have gone at it from the wood on the outside, way to the right, but that's not how he played it. Now he's looking for some bonus money.
He averaged 148 last week.
On the head pin. Tough shot here, the 5, 6, and 10.
His games were 138, 151, 155.
Consistency. A 444. And a 9 box.
As this airs for the first time on April 1st, I would like to wish happy birthday to my very good friend Mary Wall, who hits a major milestone that I did a couple of months ago. Her 50th birthday. Mary Wall, a former doubles partner of mine, a terrific coach at Leda Lanes. Dickie had a chance to meet her back when we did the fundraiser for the kids there at Pilgrim Lanes.
That's a former doubles partner of yours when you were a competitive
When I was a
and
competitive
bowled
amateur bowler.
week after week after week for years and years and years, and had your own bowling ball and bowling shoes.
That's correct.
And had instruction and had experience, as Chris picks up the spare.
Anyway, Mary.
But you didn't pick on, you know, one-time bowlers very often back then, did you? You know, like guys that bowled once a year or anything like that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
By the way, Mary, a speedy recovery. I'll pull in for you. Happy birthday.
Chris will put 6 in his spare.
Well, we're just a couple of weeks away from probably having a look at the match that you and I bowled at Pilgrim Lanes back
The one that
in
you
February.
bowled with your own bowling balls?
I
Is
did
that
bowl
the
with
one?
my own balls.
Yeah.
And you could have used mine as well if you'd like.
Chris just missed.
We're not tipping our hand here as to the outcome.
And by the way, I want to remind everybody as well that coming up on Tuesday the 10th is the taping of the Tournament of Champions at Leda Lanes. It's a great day. It's a day of 5 matches that we will tape. We begin about 9:30 in the morning. Get here early. Ray Simino and Sean Howard will have the coffee and donuts out. Hopefully we'll have nice weather that day. The last several Tuesdays have been miserable. We've had 2 postponements, and on a day that we're taping today, we're having terrible weather. And here's a strike for Bill Treeful. So Bill's 3rd mark of the string. So don't forget, it's Tuesday, April 10th, Leda Lanes, 9:30 in the morning. It's right off exit 7W. If you're coming from the south, exit 8. If you're coming from the north on the Everett Turnpike, we'd love to have you join us. And if you're first-timers coming to our taping, please make sure you stop by and say hi to us. We'd like to meet you and say hello to you and thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you on the 10th of April. 9 in the strike for Bill Treeful.
Already a 70 half for Bill, which is about on par with how he's been bowling the last couple of weeks with an average of 148.
And a 10 box. As you look behind the bowlers, when you get the camera shot, you see the crowd that's in attendance here today. And we remarked last week that it's unbelievable that so many people came out. It's a it's a rescheduled day.
Yeah.
Not an originally scheduled day for a taping. B, it's lousy weather outside. And there you see the group of fans that came to watch the taping. And now Chris Boisvert, tough luck on a shot on the head pin.
There's a leave that you see frequently, the 4, 6, 7, 10 with the 2 pieces of wood perpendicular to the 4 and the 6, just the way it seems to set up.
Not going to make it. And a 10 bucks. You remember last week, Michael, we were talking about our early experiences bowling, and I mentioned to you that when I went with my dad way back when, back in the late 50s it must have been, how he used to bowl with 2 balls, right, 1 in each hand, 1 in the offhand for balance. I was talking to Ray Simino between tapings here today, and he was acknowledging that there used to be a lot of people that did that, and one in particular that stood out in his mind, and to be honest with you, I didn't remember Tony Baldinelli bowling with 2 balls in his hands, but Ray said he did. And Ray said he was the most successful bowler that he knew of that bowled holding a ball in his non-bowling hand while he was bowling.
I wasn't living in the area at the time that Tony was actively touring as a professional. So.
I remember Tony on TV, but I don't remember that he used a ball in his offhand.
Of course, his granddaughter, Krista Broussard, who is, well, turning 21 in a couple of days, is a very fine bowler and up and coming in the Pro Tour as well, and did fairly well in a recent tournament. She didn't place in the money, but she had the high game. They pay a high single out of the money, as it's called, and she was doing very well. Her mother, of course, Tony Marie Lopes. So it's a great bowling family now of at least 3 generations and maybe 4. I don't know.
And Treeful had the half Worcester and now tries to fight his way out of it. And 8 bucks. Ray Simino was reminiscing about a time when he was bowling on an alley next to a fellow who was bowling with 2 balls in his hand, and how they collided while they were both bowling. And
you mean he and the bowler?
Yeah, the bowlers
collided.
Yeah.
Hey, Ray was quite the bowler in his day.
I'm sure he was.
I think he's got some great stories. I think he was a jackpot bowler. There was a lot of that going on. Just a couple guys head to head.
There's a nice shot by Bill Treeful. I'm sure he was a good bowler, but one thing I do know for sure, he's a very nice man. He's a terrific guy to work with. He's just accommodating to us and to everybody who comes into Leda Lanes to view our tapings. He goes out of his way to make sure everything is just right.
Prior to our big bowling match, I came in the previous Friday and did a little bowling.
Oh, you snuck in to do a little workout, huh?
You did too.
I just stopped by to say hi to Ray.
And then he ratted on me and mentioned that he'd seen me in here practicing.
There's a nice shot by Chris Boisvert. How many times did you work out before that match?
That was it, but I bowled, I think, 5 strings that day, including a couple games with a total stranger, a nice young man named Jason, who came up to me and asked if he could bowl with me. I said, sure. Give me a little practice for competition.
Jason, you mean Jason, the bowling instructor?
He's a nice young man, 26 years old.
Chris puts 8 in the spare.
He actually didn't realize who I was till we were finished, and he looked at me and he said, "You're the guy." I'd spent an hour with him, and it finally dawned on him. So
Tough
thank
shot
you,
here
Jason.
for Chris.
I enjoyed bowling with you.
Did you let him use your bowling balls?
He tried it a couple times. Finger holes wouldn't fit.
$8 for Chris Boisvert.
Still a pretty close match. 4 marks for Bill Treeful, only a couple for Chris Boisvert, who will be under his average of 124. Unless he puts 2 marks back to back, then he'll probably hit it.
Treeful working on a mark. Puts 7 in the spare. The wood is in a good spot for him right there. If it's not behind that pin,
I think it is, Dick.
No, I don't think it is.
Oh, you're right. Oh, your depth
but it also
perception's-
rolled over. It rolled over too far. Still can't hurt him. Nice shot. It helped him. It certainly did help him.
Nice
That
shot.
wood took the pin. Great spare. Watch that wood on the right. It caught it from behind and spun around to get the pin. On the spare and a strike. 3 marks in a row. $50 in bonus money. for Bill Treeful. First bonus money of the afternoon, and another big string for Bill.
Continuing his assault on the pins here at Leda Lanes after averaging 148 last week. He'll be very close to that in this first string in his second week.
He's at 135 plus whatever he puts in the strike. Right in the pocket. 2 in a row. $1,150. The triple strike jackpot. He had a shot at it last week. He had 2 strikes in a row and threw a good third ball in the pocket and had an 8. So now here we go. This is $1,150 for Bill Treeful. He takes a deep breath. If he didn't know how much was in the jackpot last week, he knows now. Here we go. Look at that, just that close. The 7 and 10 left standing. And Bill Treeful finishes 153. What a string for Bill Treeful. What a strong finish. Now Chris Boisvert tries to respond.
It's a wiggle out of the 1 pin, but it's
I
not
think he
gonna go.
hopes that thing will stay up, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so too.
The 1, the 9, and the 10. Well, takes the 1 and the 9. The 10 still stands. Well, Chris is going to be looking at some sort of a deficit here. Certainly not insurmountable with 2 strings to go, but it's going to be significant.
Well, looking at about a 50-pin deficit almost, unless he marks.
A mark here to get it to 40. It's right in the pocket. That's a great first shot by Chris Boisvert.
Desperately needs a spare. A lone soldier in the left corner.
Picked it up right away. Nice shot by Chris Boisvert. 106 plus a ball. So it's 47 pins minus whatever Chris Boisvert gets on this ball. That will be the lead that Bill Treeful will take into the second string. Seven, 8. Put 8 in the spare. And a 114 for Chris Boisvert. It's a 39-pin lead for Bill Treeful after 1. We're heading to string number 2. Don't go away. Lots more bowling ahead on Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on WNDS TV. Chris Boisvert trails Bill Treeful by 39 pins, 153 to 114. That was your first string score. And Boisvert will lead off the second string here at Leda Lanes in Nashua. Dick Lutzk with Mike Morin, our entire WNDS TV crew. Great to have you with us.
If you'd like to see these guys bowl in person Sunday, Easter Sunday, it's the 13th annual Easter Sunday Classic here at Leda Lanes, a singles scratch 20-string tournament with a first prize guaranteed of $5,000. A tournament that Gary Carrington has won twice in the last 12 years or so. The man you'll see next week, Sean Baker, has won it, I think it was 2 years ago. It's the Easter Sunday Classic Scratch. Starts at noon, goes for several hours, and most of the people you see on our show will be there, all hoping for a shot at that $5,000 first prize. As far as I know, the biggest singles cash prize in Candlepin bowling.
Boisvert right on the head pin, and look at the split he leaves himself. The 4 and the 7 on the left, the 6 and the 10 on the right.
It's the double pinochle and no wood to help him out. It's about a 1 in 100 shot.
Picks 1. Almost cleaned him up, but he takes a pair of 9 boxes to start out. Now Bill Treeful, who has really been on fire last week and the first string here this week, a 444 triple last week. And he starts off his first ring with a 153 here this afternoon. The retired police chief really on a mission here. That's the first ball he's showing off the head pin in a long time.
Very difficult double wood spot to make. Still leaves the 3-5.
We've mentioned in the past that Bill is, in fact, a retired police chief as he bounces that one down.
His thumb got stuck in the hole there.
Currently serves as a lay brother at Mount St. Mary's Abbey in Rentham, where he manages the farm. And as we mentioned last week, that entails an awful lot of snow plowing during the winter months.
Yeah, he told me he has to go out about every 6 inches or so during the big storms.
Right back on the head pin, but right back through. He has 3 grown children. John is 32, Mike is 31, Brian is 29. He's been bowling for 28 years. His home lane, Central Park in East Boston, and Park Place in Wyndham and Exeter lanes. So he lists 3 lanes as home establishments.
And he's been bowling longer than Chris Beauvair's been around by 3 years.
And that will be an 8-box.
So put 2 more pins in Chris Beauvair's column, making it a 37-pin lead for Bill Treeful.
Beauvair in the pocket a little thin. Took out 5, left the 2, 4, 5, 7, and 8. The 5 and the 8 remain.
He was the winner of the Tournament of Champions last year, beating Scott Creighton 425 to 397 in his first week, beating Mike Poulin 366 to 363 in the second week, and then to win all the marbles, $1,500, beating Joe Stella 359 to 343 in the championship match. He would love to defend his title again this year, but he needs to win today and then beat Sean Baker next week. Sean Baker, one of the hottest bowlers this year. He and Chris Sargent have been lighting it up everywhere. So it's the half Worcester left side for Chris Beauvair. Still the 7 and 10. No marks yet in this game for Treeful or Beauvair.
$9 for Chris Beauvair.
Half Worcester and the 9-pin as well.
So Treeful will be open through 3. Beauvair open through 4. And that'll be a 9-box. Some of these shots these guys make to get a 9 or a 10 are remarkable at the end. That was right in the pocket, and there they go. The first mark for Bill Treeful is a strike in the 4th frame. As we go to the break, you'll get a chance to see it again. Treeful in the lead over Chris Beauvair as we near the halfway point of the match. Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on WNDS TV. Chris Beauvair ready to bowl on lane 34 at Leda Lanes. He trails by 37 pins, plus whatever Bill Treeful gets on the strike when he comes to the line. His next turn. Beauvair off the head pin. I want to acknowledge a couple of notes that we received, Mikey. Got a note from Frances Leith. And what did I do with her envelope? It'll tell me where she's from. I got it over here someplace.
Chris still has the 1, 8, and the 10. 37 through 4, so it'll be less than a 50 half for Chris Beauvair. Well, under his usual average. Wood helps him out on that shot. And he'll move over to lane 33.
Frances Leith from East Hampstead writes a nice note. She's been watching bowling for a long time, 79 years young, remembers Don Gillis, and picks out familiar faces in the crowd that are at our taping week after week, as a lot of people do. She also notes that when Gary Carrington was a child, he was a neighbor of hers in Plastow. So say hello to Gary next time we see Gary. We'll be seeing Gary before too long, and we'll send your best along to him as well. So that's Frances Leith from East Hampstead, New Hampshire. Thank you very much for your nice note.
Mrs. Leith, we'd love to hear stories of Gary's misspent youth, if you'd like to send that along and share it with us. I just have a feeling he was a little pistol as a kid. I could be wrong, but maybe Gary can verify that when we see him.
We'll ask him. You'll ask him.
Oh, I'll ask him.
Eight box for Chris Boisvert. We also have some emails that we'll pass along to you. If you'd like to send us an email, the email address is WNDS_TV@yahoo.com.
Shaky 1 and 6, leaving a difficult spare. However, piece of wood is trying to roll over toward the 1 pin, and another pin from the back is looking to move in. Hitting the 1 pin is essential here.
Rosemary Kaczynski of Webster, Mass. sends in a copy of a bumper sticker.
Oh, no. Here we go again.
With the Indian spelling of Webster Lake. How many letters?
There are some.
It's printed in Polish.
I thought that looked like it was Polish. You know what? Next time Tony Zernicki is here.
Yeah, it says maybe Tony Zernicki can help you pronounce it. That's what it says right on the note.
From out there. He couldn't make it today because of the bad weather. Tony makes us Polish food every holiday season. God bless him. The
Golumpkis or pierogies, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
The husband of the late Stacia Zernicki, of course. We talk a lot about Tony. Stacia passed away, I'm going to say 6 or 7 years ago at least. So it's the Polish translation. Like the English version isn't tough enough to say. Now we've got it in Polish. Webster Lake, the Indian version.
I'm going to count how many letters there are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
While Dick counts the letters, I'll do the play-by-play. As Chris Boisvert steps up on lane 34, a 5-pin deficit in this game, 45 in the match overall. Make that a 6-pin deficit this game. He leaves the 4 horsemen on the left side and the 9-pin. So what do you come up with?
55.
Jeez.
55 letters.
I'd love to hear Tony read that. Hold on to that.
Well, I'll give it to you to hold on to.
We'll see if we can coax Tony over to the microphone next time around for one of our April broadcasts in the Tournament of Champions. See if he'll give us a pronunciation in Polish of Webster Lake. Tough day for Chris Boisvert, a product of Leda Lanes, a hometown favorite and a winner of the Tournament of Champions last year.
Right on the head pin, and there's his first mark of the 2nd string. A solid strike for Chris. No question about that one, and the first mark of the 2nd string matches the only mark that Bill Treeful has in the string, which was a strike back in the 4th box. Treeful with the 2, 4, and 6. To check it, the 3, 4, and 6. Got the 3 and the 6, but the 4 is still there. $10 for Bill Treeful.
So he's gone 3 frames without a mark. Misses the head pin on this one. The 1, 3, and 6 remain.
Did you just see something flicker?
Yeah, we had a near power outage here at Leda Lanes.
Spare for Treeful. Opposite the strike that Chris Boisvert put on the board. There's nothing wrong with your TV set, folks. Boisvert looks for 2 in a row. Threw it into the pocket a little thin.
Still the spare lead of the 2-4-5-7. Getting either to the left or the right of the object pin will usually take it down. Nope.
Not that far to the right.
Timing was off on that shot.
And an 8 box, he's at 91. Nope.
He got 90.
90 is correct.
Here's a nice break, a very, very thin hit, which occasionally can be to your advantage. A whole pile of pins, 4 of them.
I don't think there's a way to miss this. I'm looking to see if there's some way that that last wood could get deflected away, and I don't believe there is. Nope. So the mark in the 10th frame puts him over 100. He's at 100 for the string, plus a ball. Bill Treeful could take a commanding lead into the 3rd string. We'll put 6 in the spare and give him a 106 for the 2nd string. If Bill Treeful puts a couple of marks on the board, he could take a 50-pin lead into the 3rd string.
This will be by far the lowest scoring game for Bill Treeful of his last 5.
There's Bill working on that 5-pin. Will it go? Look at that pin. That one has wobbled as much as I've seen a pin wobble and not go over.
It's a good fill for his 8-frame spare.
And look at that. He picked the dead wood right off the pin.
Yeah, he needed to hit that a little bit more to the right. It wasn't frozen, apparently.
Costly miss for Treeful. Puts him at 101. He leads by 34 pins plus whatever he gets in this last box. Thin on the head pin, real thin hit. Well, this has some possibilities, Michael. Now play that front wood on the left side.
Make sure you take out the 7.
7 pin still stands.
He went too far to the right on that. He wasn't listening to you, Dick.
He's at 110.
So Boisvert is still very much in this game.
111 2nd string for Bill Treeful. A 44-pin lead for Treeful over Chris Boisvert going to the 3rd and final string. Hang in there, gang. We're coming back with more as we continue with Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on WNDS-TV. Bill Treeful will take a 44-pin lead into the 3rd and final string this afternoon in the semifinal match against Chris Boisvert. The winner of the match climbs up the ladder to take on our #1 seed Sean Baker next week, with the eventual winner getting a berth in the Tournament of Champions at the end of the year, joining the 5 others who have already reached that level of excellence.
They are Gary Carrington, Dave Richards, Gary Santora, Mikey Morgan, and Sean McKinley.
Treeful did not make the spare. You heard the groan from the crowd.
Oh, nice shot.
And he starts out with a 10. Go ahead.
Always great to see the double wood made like that.
Don't you think it's easier when you have your own bowling balls to do things like that, and you've been bowling for years competitively? And
what are you getting at? Care to explain?
Just that experience certainly is a factor, and
If you weren't such
Ooh,
a
look at that, Bill.
cheapskate, you could buy your own bowling balls, Dick.
Maybe one of the suppliers will provide one to me.
Perhaps our friends at Paramount Bowling.
That'd be nice.
My friend Bob Perella. You'd like Bob
Sure.
Perella to send up a set of bowling balls for
Absolutely.
you? What's in it for him?
What's in it?
Yeah.
For your friend at Paramount Bowling, the supplier of bowling
Yeah.
products in New England. $10 for Bill Treeful, 2 10s. Spread eagle for Chris Boisvert.
Actually, Bob, if you're listening, you can send me the new balls. I'll give you, Dick, I'll give you mine. They've been broken in. There's still some good games left in them, pal.
I've seen them in action. There are not many good games in them.
But just enough, apparently. The big grudge match will be seen here in a couple of weeks on WNDS between Dick and myself.
Nice shot for Chris Boisvert to pick up a 10. You know, when I was a kid, I really always did want my own bowling balls, my own bowling shoes. Never got to the point of getting them.
You know,
Never did it.
A set of bowling balls, $100. It's an investment, Dick. You can leave,
Chris, right
to
on
your
the head
children when you pass along.
I could see them fighting over the the estate.
Well, you've got 3 children. There's 4 bowling balls, 1 for Deb and the kids. That'll be about all you leave, from what I understand.
Chris puts it right through the center.
Putting these kids through college, huh?
Not much left.
Who's going to do the show with me when you move to Boca in about 10 years?
That will be a 6 for Chris Boisvert. Can't afford too many of those. Our acting director, Larry Taylor, says he will be
He's volunteering, huh?
sitting in the chair.
Does Larry even own a suit? That's what I need to
Look
know.
at this, Treeful going after the strike. You would have thought he had a shot at it when that 3-pin fell backwards but left the 9-pin standing.
Yeah, the 3-pin fell back, but at an angle, apparently.
And there's a spare for Bill Treeful.
Who continues to pad his lead on his way to, well, it appears to be victory, and a shot at Sean Baker next week to see who goes to the Tournament of Champions as bowler number 6.
Treeful on the head pin, spread eagle, puts 4 in the spare. And an 8 for Bill Treeful.
The recently married Chris Boisvert, wife Amy. I believe she's here today.
Haven't seen her. Chris in the pocket. He leaves the 2 and the 8 with a piece of wood between them.
And that makes all the difference in the world.
He's got to hit the 2-pin. That's the bottom line of this,
well, that's
this shot.
About all he's got to do, because that piece of wood will take everything out. Don't make a liar out of me, Chris.
There it goes. First mark of the 3rd string for Chris Boisvert. Gets a little bit of a rise out of the crowd. They'd like to see the local boy put on a little bit of a run here in the 3rd string. It's been a rather quiet match.
His parents here, of course, the Merrimack High School graduate, 25-year-old Chris Boisvert.
Chris will put, he didn't want to see that pin go down. He'd rather have that pin stay up there, but as luck would have it, it came tumbling down. Put 7 in the spare.
And the inverted triangle.
Got to play the wood here on the right, the piece of wood that's sticking out there, and hope that you catch it at an angle and wipe everything out. He's not going after it that way. So he will be open in the 4th frame. That was the shot. Take a 10 box. And Chris has gained a pin on the lead. It's a 43-pin lead in the match with 6 frames to go. We're going to the break. Bill Treeful has the lead. We continue in just a moment from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on Candlepin Stars and Strikes from WNDS-TV. Bill Treeful leads Chris Boisvert by 43 pins with 6 boxes remaining. In this semifinal match of our 6th ladder series, the winner climbs up the ladder to take on number 1 seed Sean Baker next week. Treeful in the pocket. The 5, the 6, and the 10 still standing. Piece of wood out in front of the 5-pin, angled in such a way, if it stays where it is, but it's moving away. Well, it's playable. It's essential to play it. There's no choice here. You got to play it and take your chance. Well, that's the only way you could go at it. You had to play it and take your chances. Treeful open in the 5th frame. An email here today, Michael, from Thomas F. Mulvoy Jr. Mr. Mulvoy writes, "Thank you for having Candlepin Stars and Strikes on every Saturday. I used to watch the bowling on Channel 5 in Boston until they cut it off so rudely a few years ago. I am now 14 and have been bowling since I was 3. I managed to keep my league average at about 100 at 20th Century Lanes in Cleary Square, Hyde Park, and look forward each year to participating in the MBA statewide tournament that's sponsored by the Boston Globe, where my father was an editor for 35 years until retiring last month. Thanks again for helping to keep the game alive. Sincerely, Stephen T. Mulvoy, West Roxbury, Massachusetts." Mr. Mulvoy, the game of Candlepin bowling needs more youngsters like you who are actively involved in it and concerned about its future.
And a well-written email. You can tell there's journalism in his family genes.
Wonder if it was edited by
by Dad. Chris Boisvert is not making it easy on himself, leaving the 4 horsemen on the left side and the 9-pin in the back. 9-pin always the toughest.
Nice shot by Chris Boisvert for the spare. Not only was it a nice shot, it was an essential shot.
Yeah.
With Treeful sparing in the 6th. Chris needs to just about run the table here. And if anybody's capable of doing it, he is.
Last year's Tournament of Champion winner.
Right in the pocket. There they go.
New ball game, folks. Back-to-back marks by Chris Boisvert.
2 marks in a row for Chris. He'll be shooting at bonus money.
Look at the 5-pin go to the left. See how Bill Treeful responds to this latest rush.
Yeah, working on a spare. That's how he responds to it, just like that. That is called a quick response.
It was not an artful strike, but it doesn't matter.
No, very similar to Chris's in that the 5 went over, and that one took out the 7. Chris's the 5 took out the 6.
4.
The 4, rather, on the left side. That's correct. Now here's Treeful putting 7 on the first ball, another ball to go to fill the strike. Looking for bonus money here. This is a $50 shot for Bill Treeful, and it's a makeable shot. And he's got it. That's a $50 shot for Bill Treeful. $50 more in bonus money. He now has $125 in bonus money in the match. And more importantly, he's just about to put Chris Boisvert away.
Unless young Mr. Boisvert can string a couple strikes together.
Well, as long as Treeful continues to mark, Boisvert can't get any closer.
Except by back-to-back strikes. It's about the only option that he's got right now.
No, not going to happen that way. Still has a ball to fill the strike. That's a good way to do it. And there they go.
Didn't lose any fill because the spare puts 10 into the strike box.
And that's a $50 shot for Chris Boisvert right there. $50 in bonus money. Well done.
Our runner-up today, Dick, gets $300, by the way.
Now Chris needs another mark. Just like that. Will that 6-pin go? It stays up.
Sad thing is he started this a little bit too late, I'm afraid, because Treeful continues to stay with him.
It's the 6-pin, and it's gone. Another $25 in bonus money for Chris Boisvert as he tries to apply some pressure to Bill Treeful, but Treeful really has responded by marking himself. He hasn't given up very much of the lead. It was 44 going in. It's 33 now.
That's ugly.
Treeful put 6 in his spare. All right, there we have Treeful with his open frame in the 9th frame. He's at 115. And it's virtually, it's not mathematically impossible, but it's very difficult for Chris Boisvert to come back into it. We'll watch Bill Treeful see what he does with this box here. Leaves it open, so the door is open for Chris Boisvert. We're going to have to watch Chris Boisvert's next shot. That'll be a 9 box and a 124 for Bill Treeful and a 3-string total of 388. Chris Boisvert
needs 57 pins.
He's filling a spare too, so he doesn't need a. He depends on what he gets in the spare. It really is very important right here. The fill is important. Now he only put 6 in it, and it's a 50-pin lead, and he can't do it. That's going to do it for the match. Chris Boisvert will lose to Bill Treeful. So Bill Treeful will be the winner, and we will return to Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire to meet our bowlers and to prepare you for the championship match next week when we come back right after this on Candlepin Stars.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you by the Thompson family of dealerships in Nashua, New Hampshire.